the vibes. Welcome back to another week of the Hoop Genius podcast presented by NBA 2K23. I spent one weekend playing NBA 2K23. If you didn't, you can hit the link in the description and get your copy. Oh, excuse me, I'm losing my voice from screaming at the TV every time I lose a game, which isn't that often, but it does happen. Just on occasion, I'm not gonna lie. But also while you're there, you can join the Discord server. We can talk ball. BJ, how was your weekend?
Come on, man. Gotta give me another choice. It's all love here, Bo. It's all love and it's all good. You gotta give me another choice. Give me another option.
Okay, well, we're gonna talk about things that have been happening around the NBA. What's got you laughing so much?
That was really funny. That
What's
was a funny transition.
So
you was like, okay then. Nothing.
What have you been watching any of the preseason games that are going on? We had the Warriors out in Japan playing against the Wizards, and my Boston Celtics have just eviscerated the Charlotte Hornets.
Well, am I supposed to be impressed, or what how am I supposed to feel? How am I supposed to feel about the preseason?
Hey, any win is a win. Listen, we're going to talk about the Boston Celtics for a little bit because some things happened in that game that are pretty interesting.
Okay.
I haven't yet sat down to watch it because it tips off at 6 p.m. in the UK. I wasn't ready for a game to tip off so early. I was still on the tube home. So I was like, damn, the game starts. So I'm going to watch it after this. But I just looked at the box score. And one thing jumped out to me, VJ Armstrong. Guess what happened in this game? Boston Celtics 134.
But Blake Griffin had 30. Blake Griffin had 30.
No, Blake Griffin. Did he play? No, he didn't play yet. Okay. But we're going to talk about that signing in a sec because we haven't talked about it yet. What did the Celtics do in this game?
What unique preseason thing did they do? What did they do?
It's not unique. It's what they did in the NBA Finals. They had 23 turnovers. 23. 5 of them for Jason Tatum against the Charlotte Hornets. 4 of them for Marcus Smart and 4 of them for Jaylen Brown. They've picked up right where they left off. But some more interesting things happened. Mason Plumlee of the Charlotte Hornets, I saw a video of this just now. He went to the free throw line. Now, for context, Mason Plumlee is a career 55.7% free throw shooter. Okay. Last season, he shot an absolutely abysmal. It's so abysmal, I have to Google it real quick because it was terrible. A career low 39% from the free throw line. Okay? It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. He scored 67 of the 171 free throws he attempted. So in today's game, he debuted a brand new free throw. Now, some players change their routine. They dribble the ball a few times before they shoot or whatever it may be. He has changed shooting hands. He went from right-handed to left-handed. Now, in this game, he went to the free throw line 8 times and he hit 4 of them. What do you think about players changing their shooting hand? Because there is a lot of talk about Ben Simmons potentially also changing his shooting hand, and other players have experimented with underhand techniques and whatever other things. Do you think that this could be a solve for people who struggle at the free throw line? And well, that is the trademark BJ Armstrong pause, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you ask these questions. You ask these questions. I'm going, okay, where is he going with this? Like it's much more complicated than just merely changing hands, right? Okay, I make 39% with my right hand. I'll just change to my left hand, like Ben Simmons, right? Or in this case, Mason Plumlee or whomever. First of all, when you become a good free throw shooter, it requires for you to do something, which is to actually practice making free throws, not shooting free throws, but actually making free throws. And in order to make a free throw, that means you have to practice with the idea of the ball going in the hoop. And when I see people who shoot low free throw percentages, my first thing is, okay, all right, you shoot an extra 100 free throws after practice. And, well, I shoot 100 before. And I just keep going like, I see I'm putting in the work. And like, just because you practice for an extra hour or two doesn't mean it means you're going to be good at it.
It's better than not practicing for an hour or two.
But if you understand how to make shots, see, there are people who shoot shots, then there are people who make shots. The difference between Steph Curry and the other people, Steph Curry makes shots. The other guys are just shooting shots. There's a difference.
Okay.
Only shoot the shot you can make. That's the key to being a good shooter.
We're talking about
only shoot the okay. Well, you have to figure out how to make that shot. It's simple. This isn't like complicated. This isn't like, oh, I gotta change my routine. Oh, so you have a responsibility.
When you say figure out how to make that shot, he shot less than 40% from the free throw line last year. So in his head, his idea of figuring out is I'm going to shoot them with my left hand because it can't get any worse than 40%. Okay, but what do you mean when you say you got to figure it out? More reps or
when you are responsible and accountable? I have a responsibility to the team that I play with. I got to figure that out.
And how would you figure it out? If you were Mason Plumlee, what would you do?
The first thing I would do is I would stand literally in front of the basket like I always did.
Form shooting.
And put that ball in the basket. See, I don't worry about distance. When you shoot, your mind is telling you what's going to happen. Every time I shoot, the difference between me and the other guy, I expect to make every shot I shoot. These guys are shooting and don't know what's going to happen. They're like, well, I'm just going to shoot it and see what happens. Mason Plumlee, let's stand right in front of the basket. The only thing you can't do is dunk it. And let's get you to where you expect every time you shoot to get the ball, that ball is going to go in the basket. And you're going to have so much confidence that as you get more and more confident, we're just going to keep moving further and further away.
Okay.
If you can't you're a professional athlete. No one's in the gym, no conditioning. You're not tired. You're just in the gym. You mean to tell me I can't make 9 out of 10? I can't make 90%? It's just you in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So Mason Plumlee, what's the distance you can shoot 80% right now? What's the distance?
Well, last season he actually airballed a free throw in the Boston
that's what I'm
Garden.
saying.
He actually tried one left-handed shot last year as well. But the season before, which is why it's interesting, he was at 67%. So he took basically the same amount of free throws in both seasons, but he made 50% less this year.
It's okay. I'm not worried about what his percentage is. My concern is, what are you doing? Because you can shoot, you don't shoot 80% by accident. That's not an accident. You don't shoot 90% by accident.
Yes.
So you have to get to a place where every time you shoot, you expect it to go in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so my question to Mason Plumlee is, okay, what are you doing? What are you doing in summer? What are you doing? Like, you can fool the other people, but what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I get fouled real hard. It's more difficult to make those 2 free throws than if I'm just shooting 2 technicals. Same, you're 2 for 2. You're 0 for 2. Well, if I get fouled real hard or your conditioning is off, of course you're not going to shoot a higher percentage. I'm not impressed by the percentages and numbers. Save that for someone else. Mason Plumlee, what are you doing? What are you doing? Now, it could be something as simple as I have no idea. He may shoot a higher percentage as a 4, but he probably last year, I'm just guessing now, he probably played the 5. So you say, well, why is that a big difference, BJ? Because we all know that the stretch 4 is not running as much as
he always typically plays the 5. I mean, only when he was in Denver, he played a little bit of 4. But the last few years, he's always been the 5.
But I remember watching him in Detroit. He was playing the 4. I remember watching him in Detroit when he played there. He's playing the 4. Beef Stew was playing the 5. Okay, and the reason I say that is because when you're playing against 5s, the Joel Embiid's, he's pushing a lot more at the 5s than he is at the 4.
So it's like a physicality.
It's just simple. It's just simple math, right? You running from baseline to baseline as a 5. As a 4, you're running basically everybody's a stretch 4 now, top of the key, and so it could be a conditioning thing.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, who knows? It could be, the physicality and the pushing. He's burning, I don't know, 400 or 500 extra calories by pushing. Maybe that, who knows what it is? But what I am saying is, whatever it is, get to the place where he could eventually extend as far away from the basket as he can by shooting no less than 80%.
Would you
like as a player, when I played, I only practice and counted makes.
Yeah.
I only counted.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Excuse me. When I was playing, I would only count all nets as a make.
Wow. Okay.
It's just me in the gym. 2 basketballs can fit in the rim. Think about this.
Mm-hmm.
2 basketballs can fit in the rim.
It's
At
huge.
the very least, no one else is in the gym but me. I can't swish it. It's just me in the gym. Not make it, swish it. I got to focus.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I practice. So, okay, for me right now, I can go to the gym right now. Right now, I don't play. I can make 9 out of 10 right now.
I could do the same. And I never played in the NBA.
Yes.
It's a free throw,
Okay.
and no one's there.
No one's there. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 threes. It doesn't matter. That's easy. But can you make 9 out of 10 on net?
I'll go try it tomorrow. I'll let you know.
On net.
I'll let you know, BJ.
Okay.
I will.
So if you take 10 a spot, I try to shoot a minimum of 70% from every spot on the floor on net. And consistently I can make 10 in a row, but can you make 7 out of 10 on it? That's the most impressive thing about watching Steph Curry shoot. Because when I watch him shoot, everyone else is saying he makes it. Do you watch how he makes it though? It's clean.
Effortless.
He's making all net.
Mm-hmm.
He's like all net. Now that to me is way more impressive because he's doing this in a game with defensive pressure and he's getting double teamed. Now that to me is a whole different level of shooting. He don't just make it. He shoots it at he's shooting at a clip that I've never seen before.
Just while we're on free throws, would you like to see a return of the granny style free throw for players like Mason Plumlee who clearly struggle at the free throw line?
Whatever it is. When I think of shooting, I'm just not really impressed because I'm going, 2 balls can fit in the basket at the same time. Mm-hmm. I can't make that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just simple to me. Like, okay, but again, it's just me. 2 balls can fit in there. You mean to tell me I can't get the right trajectory to drop? I have a ball that can, and If 2 of them can fit in there. I can't figure that out. Like,
BJ, not everyone shot 40% from 3 in the NBA in their career. You know what I'm saying?
Again, I'm trying to break it down to its true essence.
No, I know. I know. For me,
like okay, I get it. I get it. I'm looking at it going, okay, 2 of those balls can fit in there. Like when I think about it, I go, God, 40%, that's the best I can do.
Yeah, it's when physics, I think about free throws. If there's no one around and it's free throw shot, yeah, normal.
When you're in the free throw, you without questioning, you're 80, 85, 90%. Yeah, that's but and if you imitate the trajectory of the ball, right? You gotta put some arc on it because you're trying to drop it in the basket.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to drop it in the basket. All right. You're not shooting it at the basket. You're trying to drop it in the basket. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a higher percentage if you shoot it with a certain level of arc.
This is one thing. You know, Kawhi Leonard's famous game winner against the Philadelphia 76ers in the playoffs when he was on the Raptors. And it bounced around 4 times on the rim. One of the reasons why it could bounce around and drop in like that was because the arc on that shot was ridiculously high. And he was going to the corner, fading away over Embiid.
When you watch, I just go back to Steph because to me he is just taking this thing to the next level. You know how you ever watch him warm up? I don't know if you ever watched him.
Yeah, of course.
You watched him because we were there.
Yeah,
he shoots incredibly high. You know, everyone thinks he's just messing around. You know, he'll come out and he'll shoot, right? Well, he does that to the 100th degree. Like anyone that I've seen shoot, that's how you practice. Like when I practice, that's how I would practice.
To get as much shoot as many possible.
You want to be able to shoot with as much arc as you can because you at some point when you shoot enough, when you make enough shots, not shoot, when you make enough shots, you begin to realize how easy it is for the ball to go in the basket when you put more arc on it.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like a muscle memory thing for him. So that's how you know people aren't really practice making shots. Because when you watch them and they're just shooting flat, you go, oh, this they're just shooting. They're not making.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to the gym to make shots. If you want to make shots, you're going to do, it's just simple physics, right?
Yes.
I'm going to make this as easy as I possibly can. So if you were in the gym shooting 1 million shots, eventually you're going to want to make your workload as easy as possible. Well, it's easier to shoot it higher than to shoot right at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know sense. People. So that's what I'm saying. Like all of this, like people are saying, oh, I'm in the gym grinding. Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, who am I? I'm just you and I just broadcasting the game. I just sit there and watch. I don't say anything anymore because I know when I see someone, just like when you're shooting free throws. Okay. Like, all right. Is that the best way to do it? Is to go right at it? Okay. Okay. If you're shooting 1 million shots, eventually it is only a matter of time before you will figure that out. 2 balls can fit in the basket at the same time. Why are you shooting directly at the basket then?
Mm-hmm.
Now, at what point are you going to figure that out? At what point? And then you will naturally gain the arc necessary to put that ball in the basket as you begin to. When you start practicing at that level, you make 50 in a row. You make 70 in a row. You make 80 in a row. You make 100 free throws in a row. You will realize how you're doing it. There's a reason he shoots with that much arc. There's a reason Dirk shot with that much arc. There's a reason Ray Allen, Joe Dumars, Reggie Miller, Mark Price, Chris Mullin. There's a reason they all look the same. Okay.
Shooting with a lot of arc. Sasha Vujacic. He would shoot crazy high shots. I don't know if that's just randomly popped in my head.
The late Drazen Petrovic,
Yeah.
Stojakovic. There is a reason. Kevin Durant. There is a reason they all look the same. Klay Thompson. There's a reason. Now, all right. Mo, I mean, it's this isn't like, I just think when I watch coaches coach players on how to shoot. No, I'm not going to, no, it's not about shooting. What shot can you make? What shot can you make?
I just want to give people some context. BJ Armstrong shot 86% from the free throw line in his career and 43% from the three-point line in the 1990s. Pretty wild. There was a little stretch when he put up some crazy numbers from behind the three-point arc. There's a little season in there where he was a little 45% for the entire season. You know what I mean? So he knows what he's talking about.
And I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying I was a great shooter or anything. It just made sense when I started making shots the best way to make it. Like, I played with some incredible shooters. Like, I played with Trent Tucker, phenomenal shooter. Craig Hodges. I played with Steve Kerr. I played with John Paxson, Glenn Rice. I played with Dale Curry. I remember when Steph and these guys used to come to the gym. You catching on to how they all shoot. If you know, I remember watching Larry Bird practice shooting. I was like, oh, wow, I see why he can shoot. Like, when you watch these guys shoot, you go, wow. They all shoot with the same arc. Some higher. I mean, Dirk Nowitzki, like,
crazy.
He exaggerated his so much where it just carried over into the game. But that's how you shoot. Then the only thing I would do if I were coaching shooting is help people to just raise their elbow so that as you become a better shooter, you have to change your shot. The reason being is because at first, when I first got in the league, I was open all the time because no one knew I could shoot. As defenses started saying, stay home with him, I had to change my shot because I had to keep raising my elbow because defenses started contesting more.
Because
at
a young age, people are taught to shoot with an L shape on the arm, 90-degree angles, so your elbow is in front of you. And you're saying, just for the people listening on audio, and you're saying you have to move your elbow up so it's almost eye level, would you say? Because you see Kobe shoot a lot with the elbow.
You got to raise it as high. Listen, that's so there's only three types of shooters. I just make it real simple. Like that's why I just watch. I don't say anything is because there's only three types of shooters. There's only three types of shooters, and you got to figure out which one you fit into. There are players who make open shots. That's what I was, Mo. If I was open, I felt every shot I shot 100% of the time.
In your whole career?
Open my whole life.
Yeah.
If I'm open right now, I'm shocked if I miss that shot. Like, I go to the gym right now. If I go to shoot it, if I don't make it, I'm like, man, what's up? And I always had a thing. Oh, well, I got to check the janitor or something. They must didn't have the rim at 10 feet because I know that's how confident I am. And I was at shooting. If I shot an open shot and I didn't make it, I got it. There has to be something going on. Okay. So there are players who make open shots. That's a talent. There are players who create shots. I didn't say they make them. They can create a shot. The late Kobe Bryant was a phenomenal shot creator. Kevin Durant is a creator. Kyrie Irving, creator. Michael Jordan, creator. Those guys create shots. And then the third type of shooter is guys who can't shoot. There's a reason you're open. There's only three types of shooters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, which one are you?
I mean, very
rarely do you see shot creators. So why are we playing all this isolation basketball? There's only so many of those guys, maybe 4 or 5 in any generation. So my question is, why are we playing so much isolation basketball?
I think that there's more than 4 or 5 people that can create their own shot.
Okay.
Do you not think? Right now in today's game, who do you class as a shot creator?
No. A shot creator playing on a team. I'm not saying a guy who's playing 2-on-2.
No, right now in the NBA, who do you consider as a shot creator?
Is a guy who can catch the ball and create a shot in 3 dribbles.
Yeah. So who do you consider right now in the NBA? Because you said there's only 4 or 5 of them at any one time. So give me the names. Kevin Durant, you said.
Kevin Durant is 1.
Kawhi Leonard
is 2.
Kyrie.
Kawhi Leonard is 3.
Steph.
With 3 dribbles. 3 dribbles. You get 3 dribbles max.
So you don't think Steph could get off a shot with 3 dribbles?
I know Steph Curry, that's not his game. Steph Curry is as unique of a talent. Why? It's because he does a little bit of all of it.
But Kyrie takes more than 3 dribbles when he gets his shots off.
Yeah, but Kyrie can create space. He plays off of 3 dribbles. Kyrie, when you say these players, some players have earned the right to play beyond 3 dribbles and something good will happen. Now, Kyrie is one of those players that can play beyond the 3 dribbles.
And so is Steph Curry.
No, that's not Steph Curry's game.
Okay, but when he has the ball in his hands, he can get his own shots off.
If Steph Curry's game is not predicated like Kyrie is not a catch and shoot guy. He's learned how to catch and shoot.
Okay, but I'm saying Steph isn't just a catch and shoot guy. He gets his own shots off the dribble.
I'll say it again. Steph Curry is an anomaly that he does a little bit of everything. He can do it, but that's not what his game is. His game is not just coming down, playing off the dribble. He can do it. Just like Kyrie's game is not catch and shoot. He can do it though.
Okay, so I'm asking for the list of players who can create their own shot. So you're saying Steph Curry doesn't qualify for that list?
Because that's not his game.
But he can do it. So why does he not qualify for the list?
But because that's not his game. You don't get. You know what's interesting about Steph Curry? You don't give him the ball in isolation and let him work. He's always moving around, moving and doing things. Steve Kerr doesn't just come down and say, give the ball to, I'm going to give it to Kawhi, work. I'm going to give it to Kyrie, work. I'm going to give it to work. You don't just do that with Steph Curry. Can he do it? Absolutely.
So he's on the list.
You don't see no. There's a lot of players that can do it.
You said there's only 4 or 5
that can consistently do it. So you're putting everybody in the category. No, that can consistently do it, and that's their game.
Yeah, because Steph has the luxury of being on the Warriors. If he went onto a team that was full of not Warriors players, he could go in and get 20 plus a night, creating no shots for himself. Or do you not think so?
That's it. That's not his game.
You don't think he could do that?
That's not his game.
You don't think he could do what Trae Young does?
Steph, I don't think he. Okay. With 3 dribbles, consistently playing that way, the Trae Young can't do it.
So I don't understand how Kyrie's on this list, but he takes more than 3 dribbles, but Steph isn't on this list, and Trae Young takes more than 3 dribbles, so he's not considered a shot creator, even though he leads the league in scoring, creating his own shots.
When you're watching the game, Mo, okay, I'm going to give you the lens. Everybody's seeing the game from their lens. Okay, we can take a literal sense and say, let's count the dribbles this guy gets. We can do that. Or we're watching the game and say, what is his true talent? What's his true talent? Everybody has a talent. What's his true talent? What's his true essence of who you are, regardless whether you make it, you miss it, you win, you lose? What's his true talent? Meaning, how do we define talent? What can you consistently do over and over again, no matter what?
Okay.
Let's just take the, okay.
So DeMar DeRozan, let's get back to your list. DeMar DeRozan, he's on the list.
No.
He can't create his own shot.
He's not a 3 dribble guy. He doesn't, that's not his game. So see, when you're looking at just somebody who can create, can you do it in the context of a team and win? See, you got to do this within the context of a team. You can't just there are a lot of players who can play one-on-one basketball. DeMar DeRozan being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
DeMar DeRozan is a terrific isolation basketball player.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Carry on. No, carry on. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So when you say do it in a team context to win, why is Kyrie Irving on your list?
You got to do it at 3 because Kyrie can do that. Kyrie can play with it.
And win.
Kyrie can play. Kyrie can.
When
he
LeBron's
did it with Cleveland.
With LeBron carrying.
Okay.
Everywhere he's gone after that, he's not won ever. It's just bounced out of the playoffs, not playing, bounced out of playoffs.
Okay. I'll say it again. Kyrie can, listen to what I'm saying, Mo. Kyrie can do it.
Okay.
Okay. Kyrie can do it.
What about Devin Booker?
No.
Is he's not on your list?
No, it's not.
Is Chris Paul on your list?
No, you got to be able to do it in 3 dribbles.
So just KD, Kawhi, and
I'll say it again. In any generation, there's only 3 to 5 that's capable of doing this.
What about Luka Doncic?
Luka should be able to do it. He's not as efficient yet, but he should be able. He should be on the list, but he doesn't because he dribbles 8, 9, 10 times.
Like Kyrie
Irving. Should. Okay, I'll say it again. Until you see someone do it. If Luka does it one time, then he would be on my list.
Okay.
I see him do it one time. What does that mean? At one point, Michael Jordan, early in his career, who was the best at it, he would dribble 5 to 8 times.
Yeah.
He earned the right to dribble 5 to 8 times. Why? Because when you start dribbling beyond 3 dribbles, 9 times out of 10, something bad is going to happen unless you're a great player.
So Luka's also on that right.
When Luka finally starts dribbling less than, I'm going to just say 5 dribbles, they probably will win a championship. Why? Because he will be so efficient as a player that now the other 4 players will know what to do when he's out there playing. When you start dribbling beyond, really it's 3 dribbles, but I'll just say 5 because it's a new era. When you dribble beyond 3 dribbles, I don't know what Mo's going to do in dribble 4, dribble 5. Mo has the ball on the wing. 1 dribble, okay, he's going to the basket. 2 dribbles, he's going to the basket and he went in another direction. 3 dribbles, a hesitation dribble. 4, 5, I'm like, oh, I don't know what this guy's going to do. If I'm on your team, you got to think of the other 4 guys that he's playing with. After 4 or 5 dribbles, I have no idea what you're going to do. Who can play on a team, play and win at the highest level, and do this consistently with 3 dribbles? Kevin Durant, he can do that. I've seen him do it. Kawhi, I've seen him do it. Kyrie, I've seen him do it. Is he doing it consistently? No. But he can do it. I've seen him do it. Once I see you do it, I go, okay. If you watch Jordan, you know what's so impressive about this guy averaging 30 points a game? He's doing it in 1, 2 dribbles. The late Kobe Bryant, who was incredible. If he were here, he would tell you what took him 3 to 4 or 5 dribbles to do. Jordan was doing in 1 and 2. Jordan's 1 dribble at the rim, 2 dribble pull. He didn't need 3 dribbles. He didn't need a hesitation dribble. Boom, he was there. That's the difference. That's why you could play with him in a system and he could play. How many players can actually do that? Now, are there players who can create space, 7, 8 dribbles and do? Yeah, there's a lot of players who can do that. But how many can do that? Trae Young can come down and hesitation and he can do all that. But can he do it? And the other 4 guys say, okay, I know what this guy's doing. Ask the players who play with those guys. Those guys are hard to play with because you don't know what they're going to do.
Okay.
When Luka Doncic cuts his dribbles down to like 3 dribbles, this league will watch. They better watch out. Yeah, that's why Giannis is so efficient and effective as a player, is because he has learned how to catch the ball below the free throw line. That's a huge thing for a great player to learn how to do. Now you say, well, what does that matter, BJ? It doesn't matter. It does matter. Why? Because that's called catching the ball in an operating area. It's a whole lot different when you're catching the ball like a James Harden who just catches it and then he's got to go into his bag before he figures it out. When you're catching it and you're already what's called a penetrating pass, the rest of the team can get the proper spacing on the floor to operate. There aren't many players who can do that in any given generation. That's not a knock on anybody's game. That's why Kareem was Kareem. That's why Bird was Bird, Magic, and those guys. How many players? That's why Tim Duncan was that player. There aren't a lot of players who can do that, Mo. This isn't like a free-for-all and you score 30 points. How are you scoring your 30 points? How efficient are you scoring your 30 points? Are you scoring 30 points just getting yours, or are you scoring 30 points because you're creating space, the proper space for the rest of the team to operate? These are questions. And as you begin to see how sophisticated these defenses are and what they're doing, are you scoring points because the team is like, okay, we're going to let Mo get his and take away the passing lane so he can't allow his role players to get going? Or are we just going to force Mo to dribble, knowing very well that that's not going to beat us, like the Warriors did to James Harden with the Houston Rockets? James Harden got his stats, but you understand. You understand. I'm not knocking no one's game, but that's very, very difficult to do, and it takes an exceptional player and talent to be able to play from those areas. For instance, one of the small players who was able to do this, his name was Isaiah Thomas for the Detroit Pistons. We hadn't seen a small player be that efficient and learn how to play with less than 3 dribbles. We saw a guy score 20-some points running off the baseline in the NBA Finals. We hadn't seen that before, Mo. Not even playing isolation basketball, catching the ball, running off screens, bam, creating space for himself or his team and scoring in less than 3 dribbles. Mo, do you know how difficult that is for someone 6 feet 6'1" to do?
Yes,
in the NBA Finals?
Yes,
okay.
I do.
Okay. We saw Kyrie do it. I'm not saying he consistently does it, but I know he's capable of doing that. And I know he knows the difference between that way of playing and the way he played last year and where he's playing currently now. Oh, he's fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. Okay. A client of mine, Derrick Rose, I would always encourage him. Can you get to the basket in less than 3 dribbles? That's the sign of greatness. I don't need a hesitation dribble. I don't need 4 or 5 dribbles with a in and out and all. No, I'm gonna go right by you, get to my spot, and force either the double team to come or I'm gonna elevate right over the top of you. That's a whole different game than all of the shot fakes, jab fakes, behind the back dribble, and all between the leg. No, Mo, I'm gonna go right by you. I'm not even concerned about my primary defensive player. How quickly can I close the gap to get to the help?
I hear it. I hear it.
It's a different game. There's only so many of those guys.
I like to score back to the basket anyway, so I don't have a hesitation move either way. Someone just post you up.
Yeah, that's a level of scoring that's what makes Steph Curry. I mean, I don't even know how to categorize him because he doesn't utilize, he can dribble, obviously, but do you know how efficient he is? I mean, Mo, he catches and shoot. How many times does he come off a down screen, one dribble, step back, shot fake, side step, one dribble, two dribbles, come off a screen roll, bam, bam, bam. I mean, Mo, that is a very unique skill set that has to be respected. Why? Because the other four players can always play with him.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need a steady diet of just isolation basketball. That to me is what makes him a phenomenal player. He's an anomaly as a player, but you know, and frankly, we've probably never seen a player like him. Unlike Allen Iverson, okay,
is
unlike
he on your
AI.
list? He's one of the names I was going to ask you about.
AI, listen, AI is on the list, and I'm going to tell you why he's on the list. You know, one of the unique things that Coach Larry Brown, who's to me one of the great minds to coach in this league, he took AI off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And when he took him off the ball, it forced him to play with everybody else. Because he was one of those players that could score 25 or 30 and play beyond 3 dribbles and something good could happen. When you took him off the ball, it forced him to be that much more efficient. And then you could put him in isolation. So yes, he's on the list. And the reason he's on the list is because he didn't really need 3 or 4 or 5 dribbles. He really only needed 1 dribble because he was so fast. He didn't need a hesitation dribble to get by you. He was that explosive as a player. Now, could he play with you to set up the help defense because he get fake like he's going left, you're running left, he crosses over back to the right, spin, and he had to do what he had to do because he was a undersized player playing the 2 position. Can't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
But if AI played his natural position, which is the lead guard position, there wasn't a lead guard in the league then or now that could stay in front of him. And when he went to explode over the top, he would jump and over any defensive lead guard. But he was playing against 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", even taller players. So AI, yes, is on that list.
Mm-hmm. I hear it. Well, you guys have heard it from the man himself, Mr. BJ Armstrong.
I don't know how we got on that subject, but...
Well, me talking about Mason Plumlee was supposed to be like 2 minutes, make a quick joke about him switching hands and being trash at shooting, and then we're going to continue the episode. So what we're going to have to do is talk about the other topics in another one, because this is almost an hour long now, talking about shooting. But
oh, gosh.
I feel like that was very insightful. I really enjoyed listening to that, learned from that, etc., etc., etc. We appreciate the gems. I know people are going to be mad because they love watching. Well, you love watching Kyrie Irving dribble a million times because he's earned the right, apparently. But people who love watching James Harden and these guys are going to be mad. But what can we say? All I can say is subscribe to the show, leave a review, leave 5 stars. If you're going to leave less than 5 stars, then don't do it. Be nice. And we'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast, as we're going to continue to break down the teams, their off-season moves. We get into the lower half of the league now. So some of the rebuilding teams, some of the teams that are trying to get to the playoffs. We'll see what's good. We're going to be here all week. We hope you will too. Thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe, tell a friend and all that good stuff. And until next time, get buckets.